Hi, I'm Kamran Agaev. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you the creation of the clone and standby database using duplicate database command with RMAN. For this, I'll use two virtual machines. I've installed Oracle Enterprise Linux and Oracle 10.0.2 software on both machines and created a database only on the first machine. You can watch my video tutorials on my blog to learn installing Oracle on Linux operating system. Then I set a third device to host only to make both machines to read each other and started them. Here it is. Before starting the tutorial, let's view a plan and step-by-step procedures on creating the clone database on a different server using RMAN. The first step will be creating a password file for the OXS server. Next, we configure the network files such as listener aura and tennis names aura to establish a connection between two databases. Then we create a parameter file for the standby server and make necessary changes to it. Then we create all necessary folders on the OXS server. Next, we take backup of the primary database and copy the backup files to the OXS server. And at last, we start the OXS instance in no mount mode and run duplicate database command from the primary database. So let's start from the first step. Switch to the primary server and create a general folder which will hold all files that will be transferred to the OXS server and create a password file. To create a password file, use Aura PVD utility. Now check the folder for the password file. Here it is. Now we need to configure network files. For this, we will create a listener configuration file and start the listener on the OXS server and configure tennis names aura file on the primary server. First, let's switch to the OXS instance and check the admin folder for the listener aura file. As you see, there is no any listener aura file. To create it, we use Network Configuration Assistant tool. Click Next. Just click Next. That's all. Now list files again. Here it is. The listener aura file has been created. Open it and add an information about the instance that will be running on this server. Copy, paste it, save and exit. Now stop and start the listener. You can see that the listener is listening for the instance named test. Now switch to the primary database and make change to the tennis names aura file. Run Network Configuration Assistant tool. Select Local Net Service Name Configuration. Click Next. Service name will be test. In the host name, type the IP address of the OXS server. Go to the second machine and get the IP address. Here it is. Click Next, 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 and Finish. Now use TNS ping to check whether you can reach the listener of the OXS server. It's okay. Now create a parameter file and make necessary changes. Create P file from SP file. Let's clear it. Now save and exit. Then create necessary folders on the auxiliary server. Starting from Oracle 11G, we can clone the database without having backup. But here, as we use Oracle 10G, we need to have backup of the database for the cloning. So let's take backup of the database. First of all, configure RMAN to take all backups to the backup files directory. Now take backup of the database. Now let's check backups. Let's copy all files to the second machine and open the instance in no mount mode. Now switch to the auxiliary server and check for files. All files are here. Copy password files to DBS folder under Oracle Home. Now log into SQL Plus and create server parameter file. And start the database in no mount mode. Now switch to the primary database and connect to both primary and auxiliary databases with RMAN. And run duplicate database command. Now let's check Aura data folder while RMAN restores data files on the standby server. Here they are. The database is open. Let's check it. The database was cloned successfully and the instance is running. Now let's create a standby database using duplicate database for standby command. All steps are same with the previous scenario except that you need to create a backup of standby control file. Assuming that we have created all necessary folders on standby server and transferred password file there, switch to the primary server and take backup of the database. Now take backup of standby control file. and make some read log switches. And get sequence number of last generated archived read log file. (29) As new archived read log files were generated, take their backup. Now copy all files to the auxiliary server. Now start a standby database in no-mount mode with the parameter file that was created on the primary database and was changed as it was shown in the previous example. But before it, make sure that you have added flash recovery array information to the parameter file. Let's add it. Here it is. Now save and exit. Again to Scale Plus. Create server parameter file. Start the instance in no-mount mode. Now switch to the primary server. The last generated sequence number was 29, so we need to perform incomplete recovery until 30. Now connect to both instances. The standby creation has finished. Now log into SQL Plus on the standby server and recover the standby database. As we have done in complete recovery until archived reader log number 30, this archived reader log was not applied, so we need to transfer this archived reader log file to standby server. SQL Plus and query with $archived log view. Here it is. Let's transfer this file to the standby server. Now switch to the standby server and type auto. This archived read log file has been applied, and Oracle searched for the next archived read log file, which wasn't generated yet. So to automate it, we need to configure log archive test2 parameter file in the primary database and set it to the standby server. Now let's demonstrate how the standby database works. For this, we create a table inside of one row and switch the log file. The generated archived read log file automatically will be sent to the standby server. Now switch the log file. Now go to the standby server. Now query with $archive log view. As you see, two new archived read log files were transferred to the standby server. Let's switch the read log file again. And check the standby server. Here it is. Now recover the standby database. Type auto. It will apply all archived log files until 33 that wasn't generated yet. Now open the database in read-only mode. And query the table. Here it is. Thank you for watching and see you in the next tutorials.